Huge developments in the quantum computing industry over the last several months have a lot of investors talking about Rigetti stock. In this video, I'm going to share with you the management team's perspective on those recent developments and what it means for Rigetti stock investors. So let's take a look.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
So Rigetti's management team is talking about the developments in the previous 3 or 4 months that have led quantum computing stocks, including Rigetti, to experience a huge surge in stock price and a surge in interest from investors. So they start off by saying they believe several announcements happened in the last few months that led to the increase in investor interest in quantum computing sector. It probably started with the government of China announcing that they have started breaking AES encryption with quantum computing. Then, of course, there was the Trump victory that led to more interesting small caps and emerging technologies. Then Amazon made an announcement that they're increasing their investment in quantum computing. And of course, the big one, which was Google's Willow announcement that really added fuel to the fire and created that surge in stock prices for the quantum computing industry, Rigetti included. In fact, if I share with you the stock price action for Rigetti computing stock, you can see over the last 6 months, it's up over 1,180%. That's a huge increase, and you can see most of that happening after November. Most of that increase happening after November, the price jumping, and of course, even after the declines, it's still up by over 1,180%, and a lot of volatility here since the start of 2025. You can see the stock price falling and then jumping back up by several hundred percentage points. So this stock hasn't been for the faint of heart. It's definitely been for those investors that are willing to accept a higher risk in return for the potential for huge price increases in Rigetti computing stock. The management team went on to say that after Google Willow announcement, they themselves announced some big items. They announced their 84-qubit chip at 99.5% fidelity. That's been deployed already on AWS and Azure. So many factors have led up to the run-up in stocks of pure play companies like ourselves. So they wanted to throw themselves into the equation and say that, look, it's not just external events that caused our stock price to go up. We had a role to play too. We did something too. And I will say, I will minimize their accomplishment because most of the increases have been as a result of the external factors highlighted earlier. And also, I'll also give them credit for the stock price decrease. It wasn't anything they did that was negative that caused their stock price to decrease. It was, again, external events like the comments from NVIDIA CEO and the comments from Mark Zuckerberg that caused share prices of all quantum computing stocks, Rigetti included, to fall by several hundred percentage points. So both the increases and the decreases were mostly external, but there was some role to play for Rigetti. Of course, there is some role to play, but the vast majority of the price movement over the last few months that I shared with you has been a result of these external events that management discussed here. So they go on to say that the biggest announcement was from Google and Willow, but although the attention goes to the Willow chip, and as you said, the 105 qubit 99% accomplishment, but what management is saying is that equally, if not more important, is the concept of using surface error correction code. And what Google showed in that paper is that you increase the length of the surface error correction code. In other words, as you increase the qubit count, your errors actually come down. And that's counterintuitive because normally as you add qubits, your errors go up. So what management is saying here is that most of the attention from the Google Willow announcement went to the chip and the 105 qubit at 99.7% fidelity, right? The next highest is 99.5% fidelity. But what Rigetti management is saying is that what might be more important is actually what they discovered with increasing qubit count and decreasing errors. That was a more powerful announcement for Rigetti than what was the headline. So I shared with you that Rigetti Computing stock price has had some volatile price action in recent months, and it was mostly external factors. And in fact, if you look at the company's revenue over a trailing 12-month period, not much has changed. In fact, if anything, its revenue has gone down. But like I mentioned earlier, the company's prospects are not what's causing the price action. So the decrease in revenue or even an increase in revenue or a new contract here or there is not what's going to move Rigetti Computing stock. And I think that's important for investors in Rigetti Computing. As you're following this stock and you're seeing its developments and you're seeing its breakthroughs, and you're not seeing the price move in response to these breakthroughs or in response to an announcement of a new sale or a new contract, you might be curious and asking, why is that the case? How come the stock price doesn't increase when the company makes an announcement or when the company makes some progress somewhere? And as it is right now, this industry, Rigetti Computing included, is moving more so on outside factors than internal factors. And that's a curious case, and that's not always going to be the case for quantum computing stocks or the quantum computing industry. It's just a peculiar phenomenon of what's going on right now, just the most recent developments right now. In the longer term, maybe very long term, this company, the price will move according to progress the company makes on technology developments, but then also improving its revenue, improving its cash flow, improving its profitability, improving its capacities. All of those things are going to matter more so in the longer term. Just right now, in the shorter term, over the next between now and maybe the next 5 years, this industry, since it's very early stages and doesn't have applications yet for commercial use cases, it's going to be a lot of volatility. It's going to be a lot of price movements based on announcements made by something outside of the company. So investors in Rigetti Computing stock, be prepared for that and brace yourselves for that volatility. Hey everyone, if you like watching my videos, then I've added a great complimentary product just for you. I've written a book that's available for sale now that highlights my 6-step investing framework. Even if you don't follow that investing framework, just reading it and knowing how I evaluate stocks will make it a lot more interesting and informative to watch my videos. I've added the link in the description below.